between both teams ahead of this one. In the black, it's the Dutch. Robbie Meeuwsen takes the first pass on the first serve of this men's gold medal final in Paris, and if that is a portent of things to come, then the Dutch will be happy. He and Alex Brouwer looking to execute another victory over the Volley Vikings. On the other side of the net, in the light blue, Anders Mol and partner Christian Sørum, the Olympic and world champions, looking to add a third title to their CV for this season alone on the inaugural Beach Pro Tour. Well, an uncharacteristic miss from Christian Sørum early doors. Simon Golding with you for this one, and alongside me, I'm delighted to say, Australian international beach volleyball player Damien Schumann. And I was not expecting that, Damien.
Almost fell off my chair seeing a high line error from Christian Sørum. Very rare.
Oh, followed by the trickle ace from the man they call the power, Alex Brouwer. And this is dream start territory for the Dutch.
Beach volleyballs, we always hold up our hands as if we're sorry. We'd do it every single time if we could.
Heavy serve, well dealt with by Sørum. Takes a good long look before he chops that on the angle in front of Meeuwsen. He's got such a smooth side-out style as Sørum. That will be a big challenge for the Dutch today. The other challenge could be this. Mol is one of the only players that has been consistently jump serving with topspin here in this centre court stadium, and he's been doing it effectively. Yeah, good hustle. Nice save on the point from the Dutch.
Robbie Meeuwsen, when he does high line, almost nobody in the world can get it. Good to see off the right side. We know he can hit it hard on the angle. Everybody knows that. You could see Mol jumping into the angle as well.
Oh, very tight on the set, but nicely done. I've noticed from Mol that every time it's a tight set, Damien, he puts his hands up high and he leaves them up high to say to the referee, that was good.
You absolutely have to be convincing these days.
Rule changes came in start. Referees looking for high, fast contact on the ball. No more deep dishing. Oh, good block. And the first opportunity for Mol to get himself into the game at the net. Something tells me it won't be the last. 35 blocks now for the tournament for Anders Mol. First end switch in our opening set race to 21 points. Christian Sørum with the serve. Again, targeting Meeuwsen. Well, Mol got a piece of that, and it nearly created an opportunity for the Dutch to defend. But not quite. They look a bit more settled now, 4 apiece. Sørum goes Meeuwsen again down the line and just sets up in that pocket, waiting. And he's well worked off of the block.
The Netherlands have traditionally always run a fairly simple style of game, but it's just whether you can stop it or not.
Oh, raking serve from Brouwer. Well, if we see Mol and Brouwer going at it from the service line, we could be in for fireworks in this final. Mol, next jump serve from him. This time whips it wide of the sideline, but it's always a threat. Decide to test out Anders Mol, who misses on the rainbow, and the Dutch are mixing things up very nicely at the start of this match and causing the Vikings a few problems here. Well, that'll do. Not quite the free-flowing side-out offence that we've seen from Norway over the last couple of days, where they've been pretty commanding in most of their matches. Fabulous win against Brouwer and Wojciech of Poland in the quarterfinals, and then took Grumalt and Grumalt to the cleaners in the semi, having gone 3 sets with them in pool play. Wow, that's a good shot. That's really nice from Robbie Meeuwsen, and Alex Brouwer delighted with his partner. He needs him to be in a rich vein of side-out form early in this match, just to establish what the Dutch are trying to do in this game. Quite right, he gets the here comes the boom after that one. He looked good yesterday in the semi-final. Robbie Meeuwsen under severe pressure against Nicolai Kodafava, and he's looked good at the start of this final. 8-6 to the Netherlands. That was sweet. That was really sweet. And he's just got something a little bit extra, Anders Mol.
Oh, it just looks effortless, doesn't it? It's so smooth. His upper body's just so upright. That arm just whips through.
Whips it through again on a jump serve, but it's a second jump serve error on the trot. So good early pressure from the Dutch, not allowing the Norwegians to dictate anything in this final so far. Good serve. And a very good block as well. Not much left for Mol there, and Meeuwsen took it all away.
And that is one of the ways you can attack Norway. If you can break the pass a little bit from Mol, Sørum likes to bump set, so it means sometimes the ball isn't quite in the right spot.
Oh, again under pressure, but this time gets himself out of jail big time.
A little bit frustrated with himself, Robbie Meeuwsen. He felt like he probably was in a good spot to reach over the net and grab that ball. What a swing from Mol.
That's just insane. Meeuwsen has started this match well. Has a good look before he plays that ball. He's in total control at the moment, is Robbie Meeuwsen.
Very scary prospect when Robbie Meeuwsen starts having a look and shooting around from that height.
Yeah, for all his height and all his power, he is the player out of this two Dutch duo that will shoot the ball around a little bit. Brouwer in the #1 shirt, well, that's why he's known as the power, because he just hammers. This is a brilliant start from the Dutch. They test Brouwer out for the first time. See what I mean? Right on cue.
Brouwer just didn't care if he got blocked there, wasn't aiming for a particular area on the court, just ripping that ball. Talking about Norway, it's a juxtaposition between two players as well. Mol has that big, deep arm swing. He can still shoot the ball around, but it comes from a deep position, and so he holds defenders because of his height and his huge jump. Whereas Sørum, on the other hand, he comes in and his arm and his elbow is often in front of his body. It stays as one unit, which means he's loading to shoot. So his hand is already poised to high line or cut or rainbow or chip or whatever it might be. And then from that position, he rips that angle or that line really, really accurately. So two differing techniques, and it's light and shade. And depending on who you want to attack as a server, it just looks completely different from both of those players. But it often has the same effect, which is you losing the point, but not for the Dutch at the moment.
Well, they've been impressive. Phone lights on in the city that is known as the City of Lights. It's also known as the fashion capital of the world. It's also known as the City of Love. Paris has got a few sobriquets by which it goes, and that's nicely chopped. There's a great example of what Damien was saying about that arm position of Sørum.
Just allows him to access as soon as there's a gap. You give him just a little gap down the line, chop. Great to be able to see that on that replay.
Well, could be a free point here. And Sørum knew exactly what was open. Nice confident jump and swing. And that's the first little stumble that we've seen from the Dutch.
And off a jump float as well, not off the big jump serve from Mole. Many ways to skin a cat out here on the beach volleyball court.
Back to Meeuwsen. Oh, this is good. Well, Robbie Meeuwsen's form here in Paris has been excellent, really has. Alex
Really
Brouwer.
interesting, the Netherlands at the moment, they're just swinging as hard as they can, and Mole's trying to get a read. Might be better for him just to stay disciplined on either the line or the cross at the moment. The read's not working for him. Not that I should be giving Mole any blocking advice from here.
That's the problem, isn't it? When you make a comment on one of the greats, it's tricky, but yeah. It would be nice to see him just stabilise for a while. He's missed quite a few serves. He's not really got into his blocking rhythm yet. And that is a case in point. The timing is not quite there for Anders Mol right now. It's just amazing from Christian Sørum. He is hitting so well at the moment.
Just has every option on every time, and part of why he has every option on is because of Mole's hand setting.
Again, lots of sand found and good vision by Alex Brouwer, who for once shoots the ball.
It's like a solar eclipse when Alex Brouwer shoots it.
Well, he enjoyed it. Didn't make him feel nauseous, so he might try it again. Dutch still keeping their noses in front. That's a brilliant serve. Very well passed by Mol and really well put away. And both these teams are in very tidy nick at the moment.
And isn't that just an absolute compliment when we're sitting here in the commentary box saying Mole's not quite there, and of course it's even in a gold medal match.
Oh, yeah, unbelievable. And that shows the kind of pressure that the Dutch are under here. The Vikings not quite on it, and now they have the lead. Go figure. Another ace for Anders Mol. That takes him to 8 for the tournament. But still not quite happening for him.
They've just got such confidence in each other, such confidence in their game. They'll keep going for what has got them to this position, which is arguably the best team that's ever played. We'll talk a little bit about that later.
Well, at the moment, the Dutch determined to make them look anything but. It's an ace serve response from Meeuwsen. Great work. Well, I'm glad I'm in the commentary box and not out there trying to pass that. They go back to Sørum. I think they might give that one up for a while. Mol is the player that's giving them a bit more encouragement.
Just see how high he starts his hand on that replay. You have no idea whether he's going to rip an angle or just let it bounce off the heel of his hand.
Oh, great work. And just when we start to talk about Mol not quite being at the party, he gate crashes.
It's just so big.
36 monster blocks, Damien, for the tournament.
Outrageous.
We're level. Big shot for Meeuwsen. Oh, he's clipped it out wide. He knew Sørum was going to be chasing that on the line. He knew it had to be accurate, but he's just overcooked it.
Brouwer just mistimed his trademark little clap before he handset that. That ball was coming really, really fast. And that set was just even a little bit too far off for even Robbie Meeuwsen. An unfortunate error in the business end of this first set.
Norway nudge ahead. Not the best pass from Meeuwsen. Decent set from Brouwer. And a good reuse off the joust. Oh, and a big swing to follow. Meeuwsen digs himself out of a big old hole there.
Such a calm presence of mind, knowing that he was going to lose that joust, not to throw his entire body at it. Prepared for the redig to keep that ball on his side and have another chance to attack.
Brouwer misses. Looks like we're going to the wire in set number one. Dutch have certainly played their part in this opener. They've looked really good, and it has knocked the Norwegians off of their usually very stable rhythm here in Paris. However, they still lead. Mol takes pace off that one to make sure it goes in. Meeuwsen off the net, tape is roofed. I mean, honestly, how do you press that far over the net? That's crazy.
Stand up, now everybody clap your hands.
Monster block number 37. Great read. And it brings along 2 set points for the Volley Vikings. And time for the Dutch to say, OK, we'll take a seat, but it might be too little too late.
Phil Dalhouser, a big inspiration for Mole growing up. He's talked about it in interviews a few times, and not a bad person to look up to when it comes to blocking, and you can just see such an impressive core strength. He just hangs in the air for so long, and he's got the ability, because he hangs in the air for so long, he can actually make moves in the air. Most of us mere mortals have to maybe step fake or do something like that, but he can jump up in the air, look like he's blocking cross, and then at the last minute turn his hands back into the line. You never feel comfortable siding out against a Mole block.
They are bouncing now here in Paris. Well, plenty of support for both the teams, but there's just something about the way that Mol and Sørum conduct themselves on this Beach Pro Tour that means the crowds around the world have fallen in love with them. And fallen in love with the way that they play. 2 set points then for Norway. Well, Mol was always going to go for that out of the timeout and trust the fact that with a swing for the set, they'll be able to take it. Big point for the Dutch. Not their best rotation, with Meeuwsen having to serve and scramble into the net. Oh, it's a good serve though. But that is what we've seen from Sørum all week here in Paris. The steadiest of side outs gives Norway the first set in this men's gold medal final. They lead the Netherlands by 1 set to love here in Paris.
And when you talk about the best teams of all time, the one thing they all have in common is when it looks like they're not playing that well, they find a way to win. And if we're talking about the absolute greats of the game, Julius Brink, Jonas Reckerman, Ricardo, Emmanuel, Todd Rogers, Phil Dalhouser, they all have one thing in common, and that is an Olympic gold medal. And Mol and Sørum also have one of those. On top of that, a lot of those teams also have a World Championships. Mol, Sørum have one of those. But the big thing that Mol and Sørum have on their side is that their age. And they have so many years left in this sport. And while there's a few people mentioned in there, usually we talk about World Championships, World Tour, but in beach volleyball, the Olympics is the be-all and end-all. And right now, on paper, you could argue that they are equal with all the other greats. But everyone in the beach volleyball world, you just get the feeling that this team has something special.
So nearly there to legendary status, but not quite. They will though, they'll get there.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm being very harsh.
Away we go with set 2 of this men's gold medal final at the 6th Elite 16 event here in the City of Lights, Paris. In the blue, it's the Volley Vikings, Mol and Sørum. He managed to sneak that first set against the men in black, the Dutch duo that have been together forever. Robbie Meeuwsen and Alex Brouwer, just not quite able to close the door on a set they dominated for quite a long time. Norway then put the first point on the board of this second set. Mol awaits his next blocking chance, but that was well hit by Meeuwsen off the arms and away.
You're absolutely right. The Dutch didn't do much wrong in that first set. And probably the only thing they need to do is just keep the ball away from Sørum. At the moment, apart from that first hit of the first set, he's found sound almost every time.
Good judgment from Norway, but a good pressure serve from the Dutch as well. Fearful here for the Dutch that Norway are just going to light it up and pull away in set two. They've got to fight really hard of the pair in black. Unbelievably for Meeuwsen and Brouwer, no win to their name on the Beach Pro Tour yet. They had a third in Ostrava, second in Rosarito and a second in Hamburg. In that unbelievable marathon match against Brouwer and Wersiak. 29-27 in the third, Damien. I think most mortals would have fainted a couple of times in that one.
Don't know how those players, nerves of steel.
So Norway still hammering away, but the Dutch trying to match them shot for shot, and that's what's made this a really good encounter.
Trademark celebration from Brouwer, seeing his partner crush that ball angle.
Solid again. Nothing too flash at the moment from Christian Sørum. He's just doing what he does.
I really, really like the defensive setup from Brouwer there. If you're going to go after Sørum, don't show him a line block and a cross defender. He will just do whatever he wants. So Brouwer, the last two defensive points, has started down the line super early and then fake to the angle, come back to the line, then run all the way to the cross. He's still getting the ball down, Sørum, but he's having to think about it.
Brouwer. First attack from him for a while, and he shoots the ball again because it was too tight to do anything else.
Just ridiculous that a 198 centimetre person looks small out there.
It is, yeah, and he's a defender.
Yep.
Unreal. Four apiece, the Dutch to go again. Can they break the deadlock? They go on Sørum, who just makes it look like it's so much fun out there. He really has the most unbelievable control.
And that was the standard setup there. So it was more of the line block cross defender, way too easy for Sørum.
Good block, great recovery from Brouwer. Oh, well forced through.
We mentioned it a little bit earlier in the call. Brouwer Meeuwsen used to a lot of big matches, a lot of pressure. They've lost a lot of first sets in this tournament so far. So you expect them to keep fighting and scrapping for every single point as they've done for the last 15 years.
Bit of guts, some great play, and then a bit of thud and blunder to get it finished. Too easy. Mol just chips that past the block and down the line, and he looks like he's settling into his work now here in Paris. Yeah, well done. Very well done. Had to work hard for that point.
The two big men trading high lines. There's a few people in beach volley. We saw it in the bronze medal match with Nikolai. When a few of these players decide they're highlining it, nobody in the world is getting it.
Big serve, great pass, and more super ball control from the Norwegians. That should have been a point chance. It was nowhere near in the end for the Dutch.
He has a great sense, Sørum, of just when to speed his approach up, when to speed his arm swing up, when to hang. Just causes nightmares for a blocker and a defender.
Oh, wow. Again, Alex Brouwer trusting himself to be able to thump that past the outreaching and hands and arms of Mol. But he didn't get through. 8-6, first little break here for the Vikings as we change ends. Goes again. He rarely wants to back away from his #1 shot.
You have to admire it. Doesn't matter how big the monster block was in the previous point. You know he's just going to come back with interest.
Dutch need a point on their own serve. It's not going to come from that one. I do love watching Norway play. They are so entertaining and so clinical, Mol and Sørum. But there is already a feeling of inevitability about this second set. Even though the scores are close, it still feels like Norway are just on their way to the title now.
You look at the best teams in the world or the best players in the world in any sport, and almost before the match has started, they've just got such an intimidating factor. And Mol and Sørum absolutely have that air about them.
Oh, full marks, great shot, brilliant pass. And again, full-on beach volleyball. That ball is travelling very, very fast from the service line. And just all of it absorbed by Mol. And then rips it for the point. Tight. Got him, but just out. Good work again by Meeuwsen.
And it's almost identical siding out. So Mol highlines one, Meeuwsen highlines one. Mol tools the block, Meeuwsen comes back, rips it as hard as he can into the block as well. Very, very entertaining. Blow for blow here at the moment.
Who's going to blink first? Good serve, nicely retrieved by Mol. Oh, it's great work from Robbie Meeuwsen. And that's the little mini break that the Dutch needed just to restore some faith in this second set. Very good move from Meeuwsen. Off a very nice serve. Again, goes to the line. Brilliant. Catches Mol out. And then Mol comes up with one of those dream angles. A few fans as well, inviting the French fans to turn their flag sideways so that it looked more like the Dutch flag today in yesterday's interview. I thought that was a brilliant touch from Alex Brouwer. Still close. Side out to level the scores again. Oh, too good. But what a pass. Oh, wow. And Mol just gets the job done in the end. Pressure all the way on Meeuwsen.
Just such impressive penetration of that net. Nowhere to go.
Mini break then. Back in favour of Norway. Ball slowed down by the net tape. Meeuwsen gets the pass, but then came in on a very steep angle and the ball just not quite there for him. Too easy for Mol. Two monster blocks in a row.
Yeah, just that set a little bit too inside. Meeuwsen just losing a little bit of height on that swing. Mol absolutely capitalising on those opportunities.
He's done him again. 41 monster blocks. Remember in Jomala, when Kodafava and Nikolai won in Latvia, it was 50 blocks on that occasion during the tournament. And he's not going to be far off that, Mol. Far off that huge record by Nikolai. A little look from Meeuwsen there to Brouwer. That was tight. And the Dutch need to be a little more cautious with their setting, because Mol has found his rhythm.
He absolutely has found his rhythm, and you can just see when the ball is tight, he brings his hands together. It's a double-handed clamp, just straight down on the ball, and then at other times when he senses something else might be happening, he might double hand go to the line. Sometimes he just puts his hands a little bit wide, so as an attacker, you have absolutely no idea really where the block is going to be. So you have no information from the block, therefore you've just got to make your mind up, and the whole time Mol is just hunting and watching every single little bit of information that you're giving away with your approach, your body angles, the sets, whatever it might be.
Meeuwsen on the horns of a Viking dilemma right now, trying to get past this Mol block. 4-point run has put the Vikings in complete control. Hostilities renewed, and another block. This is huge. A wonderful run of blocks here, and Mol is shutting this game down.
He's had his head down the whole time. He's just a little fist pump, but that time he knows 4 or 5 blocks in a row. He'll look up to the crowd with a little one-finger salute.
And then tries to switch it up to the line to catch Brouwer out. And the serve error lets the Dutch off the hook, but the damage has been done. That's a brilliant serve. Meeuwsen high lines it. Sørum kind of knew what was coming, but couldn't make the play.
Fantastic touch by Sørum as well. He had to run backwards, and that's so hard to do as a defender. Take those 2 steps, dive backwards, not sideways. Fantastic touch. Good change up from Robbie Meeuwsen.
Another big hit from Brouwer, dealt with by Mol off the net. And another chance for the Dutch. Not taken. Sørum sits in the pocket, makes the play, and then lines it for the point. And another cracking rally comes to an end in the Vikings' favour.
It does, but that was really, really good defence there from Brouwer. He started down the line on Mol, and then just as Mol was about to hit, it looked as if he took a big step to fake that cross-court push and then stayed still, and he got the ball shot straight to him. So, unfortunately, the Netherlands not winning that point, but a good dig.
Oh, one-handed. All the tricks coming out now. But Sørum can't beat Meeuwsen. Way to hang in from the Dutch.
Gee whiz, that was an important block to get back in transition. The scoreline.
Serve to the line. Now goes middle. Mol again. Having to work for the pass, but just comes up with another delightful angle. Such a loose arm.
And what a set by Sørum as well. Diving on one knee, still put up in the most perfect place you could possibly ever ask for it.
Well, we already knew it, but these Viking boys are good. Oh, wow. Just missed. Only just missed, but that would have been an ace. All ends up. Dutch have got to do something. They're running out of points here. Good service run from Brouwer last time round. And that is a belter on the line for an ace from the power, Alex Brouwer.
Your partner's being served and pinned down. You have to step up, and Alexander Brouwer is doing that right now.
Can't make it 2 in a row, though. It's a terribly difficult thing to do. Not much area to aim at with those jump serves. And the net intervenes. 3-point margin for Norway. The Dutch just can't seem to break it down. Good work, Sørum. Knew it was coming on the angle and then returns the ball from whence it came for another point. 19-15 Norway. It's a joy to watch. Both teams right at the top of their game here. Good high reach from Brouwer to put that one away, but Norway just need the 2 points to secure gold here in France.
Not an insurmountable scoreline for beach volleyball, but one of the teams out there rather is the Vikings. It's going to be a very, very hard ask.
Yeah, it's all relative, I guess. Something needs to happen here. Otherwise, the Dutch will be going down in 2. Ooh, wow, there we go. There we go. Mol puts one long, and that's a bonus point. Calm as ever. Norway just back to try and side it out this time. Meeuwsen changes up to Sørum. Oh, that's superb from Brouwer, but the ball goes straight back to Norway. And again. Oh, that is unlucky. 2 terrific digs from Alex Brouwer.
Stand up. Now everybody clap your hands.
He worked so hard in that rally, and it just didn't bounce out of the furniture quite right. And Norway know that the job is nearly done. 3 gold medal points here in Paris. Good leave from the Dutch, but things don't get much better. Norway with the luxury of 2 attacking opportunities. That's if the serve goes in. And I think Alex Brouwer is just going to commit to this. Whacks it hard. That might have been going long, but Sørum took it. This for the championship, and he buries it. And the Volley Vikings take a 3rd victory for the season. 2 Elite 16 titles to add to their Rome World Championships. And a 3rd win over this Dutch partnership of Meeuwsen and Brouwer this season. It was a little shaky to start with. The Dutch sorted that with some super play. But once they got it going, the Volley Vikings were clinical to the end.